Hello and welcome to my channel, the Enthusiast Garage. And in this video, we're gonna continue working on the R bike, the new project bike. So what you guys see here is the whole carburetor all broken down in bits and pieces, and the remainder of some engine parts. So hopefully in this video, we're gonna turn this into this. So we're gonna start by rebuilding the carbs. I'm gonna deep clean them. I'm gonna do the assembly and then start painting the carbs and the engine parts and hopefully put everything together to assemble the whole engine. So let's get to it. All right, so I filled up some brake fluid inside this jar and I'm gonna soak all the jets in them. So I'm just gonna put all the jets for now over here. All right. And now I'm gonna move to start cleaning the carb body. I'm gonna clean it here in this part cleaner I have and spray some brake fluid on it. Alright, so all the needles are soaked now and ready to go. So I lined up all the new O-rings and I hope the camera is showing all that small detail. I'm gonna get closer. So the kit comes with all the O-rings and the two smallest ones are for the idle needle, idle jet. The next big one is for the choke and the next big one is for the shaft and the biggest one is for the main jet. So I have a pick right here and I'm gonna start removing the old O-ring, putting it next to the new one to make sure that's a correct size. So just like that, place it, confirm that they are the same size, then put the new one on. So I'm gonna do that on all of them now. Alright, so all the O-rings are installed now. I'm gonna put some white lithium grease, just a tiny dab on all the O-rings, so when we install them they don't crimp or anything. You don't need much, just a little bit. All right, and now time for the assembly. So we're gonna start by dropping this piece in where the main jet is, just like that. Then we're gonna drop the piece that goes on top of it. And I have all the diagram over here in the book, so I'm just following the instructions. And then the main jet will go on top of it. Like that, and this is a 10mm nut, so just make sure it's a tight fit, don't over tighten it. All the jet's gonna be just a tight fit, and then after that we're gonna put the jet with a washer, and that's an 8mm jet. Also just a tight fit. So next we're gonna put the idle needle, and the idle needle goes right here. It's a flat screw. And then we're gonna put the idle needle. We put the idle jet and now the idle needle. The idle needle have a spring on it and it goes right here in this hole. Same thing, we're gonna turn it until it stops turning. There we go. And now we can check this baffle right here. The first one we dropped, this We're just making sure that it's sitting over here on the bottom. All right, now time to install the choke housing that goes over here. So you have the choke housing here and you have the shaft. We already changed the O-ring on the shaft right here. So you just put it in, and there's a little dot right here. It should be pointing toward this tube. That's the orientation for it. And on the inside, you guys can see that it got an L on it. That's showing for the left side carb. The right side got a little R on it. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. So just don't get them mixed up. And now we're gonna use the gasket that came in the kit. So it's pretty simple. We're just gonna line it up with a gasket. And because there's a gasket, we have to go by doing it one corner at a time, just so we don't pinch the gasket. So do it a little at a time. All right, that's it. All right, so now we're gonna install the throttle shaft. There's the disc right here. There's the shaft. We put the new O-ring. I did run it through the bench grinder a bit to clean it up. So as you guys can see on the ring itself, the coin or whatever you want to call it, there's number 10. That number 10 gonna be facing backward like that, on the top side, on the back side. So the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna slide in the shaft, and keep in mind the orientation of the shaft. The hole right here, there's a counter sink hole where the screw gonna go in, that tiny screw, and the other side doesn't have that. So make sure the counter sunk hole is facing you. So we're gonna slide it in, and then push it in where the O-ring is, right here. Once it's in all the way, we're gonna rotate it down, and the coin, just like that orientation where the number 10 is, we're gonna flip it, and that's how it's gonna go in. So let's see if I can get the camera good on it. Here we go. I think the camera is good like that. So we're just gonna wiggle it around until it slides in, then we're gonna turn it. And now we're gonna use a small flathead screwdriver just to kind of like put it in a hole, just so we can have the orientation the right way. And pretty much you want it to be like completely flat around the whole area. And to make sure it's pretty good, just put a light and make sure light is not seeping through the edges of that circle. So now we're gonna put in the screws, and you don't have to tighten them all the way yet. I'm just gonna put the screws in, and just gonna make sure it's tight all the way, and don't over tighten it because you don't want to strip the screws. Now just make sure the shaft open and close. There's no binding, there's nothing. I'm gonna put some light and see if light gonna go through it, and it's looking pretty good. And of course I can see some light, but I don't think gonna get any better than this. All right, so next we're gonna install the float and the needle that comes with it. So here's the needle. That's a brand new one. It's called Carb tip float needle, and it got this little clip that you guys see. Here's the old needle that was on it, and they have like a rubber tip, so that's why it's recommended to change. So first thing, you're gonna put the float needle seat, and I'm also using a brand new one here. Now my Carb, this original seat was already removed, but I know usually it's it's a little bit difficult to remove the older seat that's on it, so luckily mine is already removed. So you're gonna put the seat in. Alright, so just like that. Then next, I'm gonna grab the float. We're gonna slide this clip into the float, just like that. And the needle should go inside that hole. Just like that. And I'm gonna tap it from this side. I'm gonna put the serrated side toward this jet. Then I'm gonna use a needle nose plier to push it in. So alright, so here it is. I actually found it easier to push it in with a regular plier instead of a needle nose. Alright, and I've been doing the right side too while I'm at it, so both of them are on now. Alright, the next step is going to be to put the gasket in that came with a rebuilt kit. Make sure it's seated all the way. And then we're gonna put the cap, and when you put the cap, make sure that air is going through this vent tube, and if you blow in this, the air comes out from this side. So I just tested that out and it's perfect. Now we're gonna slide this one on, just like that, and we can put the clip back on. Then we just push the clip up. Just like that. The float is on and the valve is on. Now I didn't put the spring yet because I do want to paint the carb. So now we're gonna move to installing the needle slide and the new diaphragm. Alright, so now we're gonna put the new needle in and install the diaphragm. Alright, so we're gonna start by putting the new needle in. So the old needle, there's a, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but there's a tiny bend. So I didn't want to reuse it, and the way I removed it, you just kind of like twist on it while pulling it out with a pair of pliers. So here's the new needle that I got. And we're gonna put it in and kind of add pressure while twisting so we can put it in the second position. Let me use plier because it's very slippery. Alright, here we go. And now we have to see the distance of it. It should be around 47 millimeter. So pretty much what you guys see here, that's the distance of the needle. So I can see like 46 almost, so that's the correct length of that needle. So next, what we're gonna do, there's a little notch here. We're gonna line that up with the notch over here. There's an inner notch that will match. So before I do that, I'm gonna grease up that diaphragm a little bit, just tiny bit. I don't wanna put it in dry because it will probably crack. Grease will definitely prolong the life of that diaphragm. So just gonna grease it up real quick, inside and out. All right. You don't have to put a lot, just enough to make sure it's moisty like that. So now I'm gonna match that notch to the inside notch here. Make sure it's seated in correctly. So just like that. And then I'm gonna put that cap on. And I'm gonna start screwing it in. And I'm gonna do it crisscross and a little bit at a time so I don't pinch the diaphragm the wrong way. Oh, just like that. Make sure you use a good flathead screwdriver so you don't strip the screws. I'm just gonna do it crisscross a little bit at a time. Right, now for the final torque, and you don't want to over torque it. There's no need, it should be fine. Just like that. Alright, that's how it should be. Now there's another notch on the outside, and we're gonna match that over here on this notch. So we're gonna put in now the assembly and make sure we slide that needle inside the hole. So just be gentle. You don't want to put it in the wrong way. So here you go. Now I can see it going in, and I can see that notch. Let me see. Here we go. The notch will go over here. That's the place for the notch. So I'm gonna go make sure the needle's in, and the notch is over here in the right way. Double check on that notch position. Okay, it's looking good. All right, just like that. And you have to make sure it's centered. Then now we can put the spring in. Then after we put the spring, we can put the whole assembly. Just like that. And then the two counter head screws will go on top. And just like that, we have the whole carb rebuilt. Now, of course, we still need to put the springs and the choke spring and the brackets, which are over here. But now I'm gonna mask the jets, mask all the brass items on it, and mask the front side, the back side, of course, and paint the carbs. So let's do that. All right, so I just masked the carbs. So I'm gonna place it face down, just like that. I masked all the brass pieces, the top side. I put a port where the inlet is for the fuel. I masked the needle over here, the idle needle. And I think it's ready to get painted. So I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna set a time lapse on the camera and get to it. All right, so that's the paint I'm gonna use. It's the Duplicolor engine paint, and it got ceramic in it, so it's good up to 500 Fahrenheit. It's an overkill for the carbs, but for the actual engine, that's what you need. So I'm gonna paint the whole engine with this paint right here. All right, here's the final result of the carbs. There we go. I really like how it turned out, the black with the brass. Here's the openings. And that's in the video where I mentioned to put the flap, that's how the flap should open. I think in a video where I showed it, it was the wrong side. It was opening toward the bottom instead of from the top. but that's how they should open up. Here's the second one. Alright, so this is it for this video. Here's the final product. I'm really happy with how the carbs turned out. I showed how to assemble the carbs and rebuild them from beginning to end in this video. Next video, we are gonna tackle the front end of the engine, changing the alternator on it, the stator, doing the whole electrical component on the front of the engine, and installing the starter. So please subscribe, like, share the video, comment if you have any questions or if you think I messed up something in the video, and see you on the next one. Bye.